In the chaos of World War II, soldiers and sailors faced countless dangers on the battlefield, in the skies, and under the sea. But one unexpected danger came not from the enemy, but from their own desperation. It was called torpedo juice, and it wasn't a weapon. It was a drink, a dangerously intoxicating and sometimes deadly mixture that became the stuff of legend among U.S. Navy sailors. But what exactly was it? Why did they drink it? And how did it almost lead to mass poisoning within the Navy? Let's dive into this bizarre wartime cocktail, one that packs a punch in more ways than one. It's the early 1940s. The United States is now deep in the Pacific theater of World War II. Thousands of young American sailors are stationed aboard ships or at remote island bases for months at a time. They face boredom, stress, heat, loneliness, and perhaps worst of all, a complete lack of alcohol. The Navy enforced a long-standing prohibition on alcohol. No beer, no whiskey, no rum, not even for special occasions. Dry ships meant dry sailors. But sailors are known for two things, ingenuity and a love of booze, so they got creative. Very creative. Enter the Mark 14 torpedo, the Navy's standard issue underwater weapon during WWII. These torpedoes ran on ethyl alcohol. That's the same type of alcohol found in vodka, gin, and rum. Each torpedo contained gallons of 180 proof ethanol. It's 90% pure alcohol, incredibly potent, dangerously flammable. And for some sailors, incredibly tempting. Word got around fast. If you couldn't buy booze, why not drink the torpedo fuel? Thus, torpedo juice was born. At first, sailors simply siphoned off the torpedo fuel and diluted it with grapefruit juice or pineapple juice to mask the harsh taste. To these sailors, it was a taste of freedom, a way to blow off steam, a dangerous thrill. But here's the catch. Torpedo fuel wasn't just alcohol. To prevent exactly this kind of misuse, the Navy had started denaturing the ethanol by adding methanol, also known as wood alcohol. Methanol is highly toxic. A few ounces can cause blindness, organ failure, or death, and yet sailors kept drinking. Some even distilled the torpedo juice themselves, using makeshift stills built from engine parts, light bulbs, and oil drums, to try and remove the methanol. But many didn't know how. Others didn't care. The result? Dozens of cases of blindness, and several deaths. As torpedo juice abuse spiraled out of control, the Navy cracked down hard. Patrols were ordered to monitor torpedo rooms. Siphoning hoses were locked away. Anyone caught milking the fish faced severe punishment. But enforcement wasn't enough, so the Navy turned to chemistry. They reformulated the fuel with an even more potent additive, Croton oil. Just a few drops of Croton oil can cause violent diarrhea, cramps, and vomiting. The Navy hoped that after one swig of this new torpedo juice, no one would dare try again. It worked, sort of. Sailors were undeterred. Resourceful as ever, some figured out how to filter or skim the fuel to remove the Croton oil, using everything from activated charcoal to bread crusts and cotton socks. Others got their hands on unmodified fuel before it was treated. And a black market torpedo juice trade was born on some bases. Enterprising sailors ran illicit bars using fuel siphoned from torpedoes mixed with juice and sold in cups or canteens. The Navy even found printed labels reading, "Not for naval use, for drinking only." It was becoming a full-blown epidemic. One notorious case occurred in 1944 at a naval base in the South Pacific. Over 30 sailors were hospitalized after drinking torpedo juice laced with Croton oil. Several lost their eyesight permanently. Another sailor, speaking decades later, recalled, "We knew it was poison, but after 60 days on the island, you either risked blindness or lost your mind." The Navy responded with strict court-martials, dishonorable discharges, and the eventual re-engineering of torpedo fuel to make it completely undrinkable. But the legend of torpedo juice lived on, both as a warning and as a symbol of wartime desperation. Today, torpedo juice is more than just a weird footnote in naval history. It represents the extremes people will go to in order to escape the pressures of war. It also inspired films, songs, and stories over the years. For many WWII veterans, the taste of torpedo juice was unforgettable. Sharp, sour, and slightly metallic. It burned going down, but numbed everything else. And in their minds, it was worth the risk. In recent years, history buffs and reenactors have tried to recreate torpedo juice safely using pure grain alcohol and grapefruit juice. They even serve it at WWII themed bars and veteran gatherings. But this cocktail serves not just as a drink, but as a conversation starter. A way to remember the resilience, recklessness, and resourcefulness of a generation that lived through the unthinkable. Torpedo juice was never meant to be consumed, but it became an icon of World War II life, something born not from celebration, but from survival. A symbol of how far people will go to reclaim a shred of normalcy, even if it comes from a weapon of war. So the next time you sip a drink in peace, remember the sailors who risked it all, just for one taste of torpedo juice. If you enjoyed this dive into forgotten WWII history, hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more fascinating stories from the past. Thanks for watching. Stay curious.